Okay, now carry on.
It all makes sense, right? So why did they change Pinocchio into a human boy that lied about breaking a wooden puppet? What?
I always thought it was just a coincidence.
Why? There have been a lot of bad interpretations of Pinocchio.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
But this Super Y version has to be the worst. Another.
Yeah, I mean, technically I still think he's kind of a puppet because no normal kid's nose just grows. So my reality is that he was just a magical puppet that broke an ordinary puppet. There.
Another weird change from the initial story was in season 1, episode 14, The Princess and the Frog. The whole Super Y version of the story is that the Princess and the Frog wanted to play different games, and they had to compromise, which
Yeah. Pretty dumb. Well, they also had to change the Emperor's New Clothes story, but that one was for a good reason. To stop the kids from being scarred to life. Scarred for life. Scarred for life. Urgh. Like, the change they did was that they had to censor it. But I'm pretty sure she's going to see that as a positive change.
at that point, I don't even need to say it, that's a totally different story. But even weirder than that was the ending. When the prince turns from a frog back into a human, the princess exclaims that she liked him better as a frog, so Princess P turns the prince back into a frog. All the while in the background, he's looking terrified and being like, no, 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 no. It was so unnecessary. They already taught the lesson of the episode at this point. I think that was for a goofy haha, but it was just strange. They
Oh man.
cared enough about the characters to teach them how to take turns, but they didn't respect them enough to, like, not mess with their bodily autonomy? See,
I like how that's how you worded it.
Season 1, Episode 9, The Ugly Duckling. For whatever reason, the story was about the duckling learning how to swim.
Yeah, I always found that kind of dumb as soon as I realized that. Like, it's not about don't bully people just because they may look bad to you. Missed opportunity, PBS.
Wasn't appearance shamed once, and he didn't turn into a swan. To be fair, though, they did tell the actual Ugly Duckling story in the sequel, Season 1, Episode 55. This
By then, looks like the design changed.
episode also ends with the super readers asking us at home what we want to be when we grow up, which makes me feel like shit. I hate these moments of self-awareness. All of a sudden, it makes what I do even weirder. Why'd he ask me that? I'm turning 25 next week. One more example, Season 1, Episode 13, Humpty Dumpty. When they started reading the story, it went, couldn't get Humpty Dumpty back down again. You're telling me there's a version of this egg story that doesn't end with carnage? I mean, I should...
Well, to be fair, it's a kid's show. They don't want him to just die.
have figured the whole problem they're trying to solve is Pig's fear of heights. Why would they then be like, guess what? This egg wasn't afraid of heights. And then he died. What?
If you're looking at another version of the fairy tale, that is so true. I'm afraid I may not be able to finish watching this video.
The thing is, even in the Super Y version, at the very end, he did crack. They just slapped a band-aid on him. But we can all admit he fell apart as soon as they left the book, right?
No. No, he didn't. Please. No.
And if you can believe it, the Rumpelstiltskin episode included nothing about him stealing their firstborn. I wonder why.
You wonder why? It's because it's a kid's show. They don't want to just scare kids into thinking Rumpelstiltskin is gonna sneak into their room and steal them away. For no reason. But there are other episodes that I feel like they should have not done.
Let's talk about how overpowered they are in the books for a second. Remember when I said Princess P turned the Frog Prince back into a frog? This isn't the only time they transformed a character against their will. Season 1, episode 34, Red turns a fox into a box so the fox doesn't eat the gingerbread boy.
Wait, my brain hurts.
At least changed him back at the end.
But the amount of power they have in these stories are limitless.
Red, you basically just ruined this fox's life. I know he was evil, but if you watch the Odd Ones Out video, he just wanted a snack. Fox is too busy looking out for number one, baby. Sorry I had to say that, Red. I like you.
The PBS Kids show Word World that I've already talked about, every person, place, or thing is made up of letters. But in Super Y, it's somehow even more than that. They can summon things or even make things happen with the power of words. So they can make people, places, or things appear with words, kind of like in Word World, but they can also spell out verbs and adjectives. They changed the big bad wolf into the small, kind wolf.
And then Princess P made him big again.
Moment that really stands out to me is in season 3, episode 12, when Red froze time. Also,
Excuse me. I know what episode this is right now. Well, since it's a season 3 episode, I don't know what the entire description on the Wikipedia page is telling me. Explain how Red has this cool power.
Also, every time they go underwater or in
Never mind.
space in these stories, they never have to wear a helmet. I understand it's probably because their head is too big, but this proves to me that it's almost like VR for them. No consequences to their physical being, and they're basically treating it like a game, but I wonder how the tiny book beings feel about them essentially changing their reality for funsies. And
No. They do it for a purpose. Also, they can breathe in space because in my lore they can breathe in space because this is also the same universe where Jimmy Neutron takes place and they can fucking breathe in space. I'm not kidding, there are memes about that. Even the show itself was aware of it. And made Jimmy explain it, and then Sheen just has to talk gibberish so loud you can't hear Jimmy at the convenient moment he's trying to tell us. A cartoon comedy. But breathing underwater, I might explain that by maybe Sandy just developed air helmets that are invisible. Oh, and they just got some because I don't know.
don't even get me started on Wyatt making his own book that they jump into. No, I'll get into it. But first, let's talk about the differences from season to season. There's a lot more than you'd think. Season 2 introduces a brand new super reader. Wyatt meets Woofster at a dog fair, which is a fair to help dogs get adopted, and before Wyatt even decides to adopt Woofster, spoiler alert, Woofster joins Wyatt at the super readers meeting about helping Woofster get adopted. They jump into the book Woofster Finds a Home.
What the... There was more I should have said about this episode.
Oh, I guess these books really are prophecies. Anyway, Woofster has dictionary power, can talk when he jumps into books, and has the ability to fly. I was really ready to...
Yeah, all of them have the ability to fly except for Red. But apparently her being able to freeze time... that makes up for it.
not vibe with him, but he killed it. Sorry to say. He saved the day, for real. And
No, I'm gonna reject that. Reject that reality. Woofster is not canon. Call it apart.